my name is Nairi and you will find me on my adoption support channel where I go through tips and advice for adopters and share my stories. If you think that could be interesting to you, then please take the time to subscribe if you would like to. And today we're going to talk about toddler potty training, and I'm going to take you through a few tips that can help you to support your toddler potty training. Now, potty training is probably one of the hardest things that you need to do with a young child and can be very challenging, but the problems and the challenges are common. The first thing to say is don't start too early with your toddler for potty training, because there are certain things that have to be in place for them to understand that they need to use a potty, or indeed a toilet with a toilet seat is also an option. So the first thing to say is the normal age, and I say normal because there's always exceptions to the rule, is about between 18 months and 3 for training your toddler or young preschooler. So as you can see, there is a very wide range of ages there to work with. Now, some of the things that might affect your toddler and delay the way that they potty training are as follows. So the first thing to say is if they've experienced sexual abuse or a high level of abuse, this could well hold them back. And so therefore it's really important to be very patient with them and not have too high expectations. Training by day is normally much easier than training by night. So you will generally have more success during the day to start with than you will at night. And it could be a whole extra piece of training that you need to do for the night time. So start by working on daytime and don't worry too much to start with about the night time. Generally speaking, but not always, getting the poos in the potty are easier than getting the wees in the potty. However, you wee more often than you poo, so you may well get more successes with the wees, as in the number of successes. But normally, and I say normally but not always, potty training is easier for getting the poos, because you can see when the toddler is indicating to you that they may need to go for a poo, so you can get them there quicker. Now, one really important tip for you is you must have a potty very nearby, because the early stages of success are going to determine how quickly you can make it. So it's definitely important to have a potty upstairs and downstairs and have it really easily accessible for the toddler so they can see where it is. They need to be able to acknowledge when they need to go to the toilet. So it is possible to start quite early with potty training, but the key factor is generally their communication skills and their physical ability to feel a wee or a poo coming. So normally you look for some indication from the toddler that they're doing something in their nappy. So you might say to them, are you doing a wee now? Are you doing a poo now? And you get some acknowledgement from the toddler that they are. Because when they know that they're going to the toilet in their nappy, that's the beginning of being able to know that they need to get to the potty. And if you try and train them before they have the skill to identify that they're going, it actually could delay them. Now, you can use rewards, and lots of people do. So you may have a sticker chart right by the potty. You may be even braver and go ahead to actually having physical rewards. But one thing to bear in mind here is that you can start with those things, but you're going to quickly need to pull back from that, especially if your child is successful. So be careful about introducing things that you can't keep up. So if you're going to have a star chart, make sure you've got plenty of stars. If you're going to give little rewards such as raisins and treats like that, then make sure you're happy to give those out every time, because in the early stages it's a quick reward every time it happens, and there's no room for giving rewards sometimes when they go and then actually forgetting to do it other times. So rewards aren't necessary, but they can be helpful. But if you're going to do them, you need to stick with them. Is once you decide that you're going to potty train and you think that your child is ready and they're giving you the indications verbally or giving you a look to show you that they know that they're ready to go to the toilet, is once you think that your child is ready to start using the potty, then you need to really go for it. And I really suggest that you don't use pull-ups as a quick alternative for having accidents. So you've got to be prepared for your child to have several accidents before they are successful with potty training. And it's much better to put them in pants, or if the weather is good, if it's summer, to have minimal clothing on so that you can get that clothing off really quickly and they can get to the potty really quickly. And you will have more success if they don't have the comfort of a pull-up or a nappy on, and you haven't got to faff around with getting that off. And of course, you're going to have lots of accidents, so you're going to need to have lots of packs of pants around or underwear around, really cheap, that you can quickly get through the wash. But if you don't have enough, you have plenty of spares, because you might get through a week and think it's not working, but you're having some success, but then you need to keep going. And I'd say you need to keep going 4 weeks solid to know whether you can really have success. And if they keep having lots of accidents during the day after 4 weeks, then potentially they're not ready. Don't be put under pressure by other parents who have achieved this really early. Some people say that boys are slower than girls to potty train, and there may be some truth in that. So bear in mind the stage and age of development of your child, their communication skills, their sex, and actually how much time you have to put into it. Because what will need to happen is, if you're going to start potty training, you're going to need to carry on with it, and people at nursery or preschool, any other relatives that are having your children during the day, will also need to follow the same pattern. So guys, don't put yourself under too much pressure. They get there in the end, but some children definitely take longer than others. And you need to remember that if your child has come from a very abusive background, they may take way longer than 3 to train to use the potty. They could be much older. And actually, some parents find, particularly at night time, that bedwetting is very common right the way through until quite late years, maybe all the way through primary years. So please don't panic too much about it. I hope that helps you. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please take the time to subscribe, and you'll see lots of different tips, advice and support on my adoption channel. Thank you for listening.